The newly formed Genesis brand is about 5 years old, and they've come on the marketplace with some really impressive sedans. Now, we've looked at the G80 before, but we've never had a chance to take it for a drive. Today, we're going to drive the 2021 Genesis G80. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lauren Fix. Today we're actually going to drive the 2021 Genesis G80. Now, we did do a deep dive into all the features that we were able to utilize when we looked at this vehicle earlier with the GV80. You can check that out up here. But today we're going to go through all the features and use them. We're going to give you a Car Coach Reports rating in performance and handling, safety, all the features, technology, 10 different categories, and in the end, we'll give you a Car Coach Reports rating. And then you can compare it against their competitors. This is a mid-luxury sedan, and it really offers a lot at a really great value, and we'll talk about that as well. It's really important to note we're going to give you information a salesperson's not going to give you. They're going to try and sell you on this vehicle. That's their job. We're going to give you information because knowledge is power. If this is your first time to the channel, we give you more than just car reviews and first looks. We give you great information because knowledge is power, and then you have car smarts. Make sure to subscribe and hit that little bell so you don't miss anything. All right, I'm ready to take this for a drive. There are 3 engines available, only 2 in the US, and I'm disappointed because the third engine is my absolute favorite, but we'll talk about what we have here in the US, and I'll just give you some details on the European engine. It's a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with 304 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque, and it gets about 26 miles to the gallon. The one we are driving, we are going to launch, is a 3.5-liter, 380 horsepower. It's a V6 engine with 391 pound-feet of torque, and it gets around 22 miles to the gallon. And just so that you know, my favorite engine, which we don't have here, is a diesel engine. It's a 2.2-liter 4-cylinder engine with 210 horsepower. And yes, you lucky people in Europe get to have that as an option. We do not get that here in the US. This vehicle is available in all-wheel drive as well as front-wheel drive. And let's give it a test off the line. Okay, that is in normal mode, and that is really good. Now let's put it in sport mode, because this is the mode you're going to need if you really want to have a spirited drive. There is a drive mode selector that is on the right side of the center console. When you press that button, your first button is to go to sport. You can also have an eco mode. There is a custom mode if you want to make it to your liking, and a comfort mode. So we're going to go to sport mode and see how the launch compares to the normal. It's a little bit better, but you know what the funny thing is? You would think it would be a lot better, and it's enough that it's more spirited. It's certainly not when you're looking at the difference between a German car's sport mode and a domestic sport mode, or even a Japanese sport mode. So it is a little better. It's not the level I would like to see, but it really is good. And when it comes to performance, as far as on-ramps, and that's where you need it, passing cars, really getting a feel for this vehicle for performance, it earned a 9. One of the things I like to test when doing handling is not just the braking and the ride, but the quietness of this car. And the insulation is fabulous. And that, I have to say, it's very much up there with what the Germans and all the premium Japanese are offering, including Cadillac and Lincoln. So it is a quiet ride, and you are not hearing the road noise, that impact you're getting from the tires against the road surface. Now, you may hear a little bit of it because I'm wearing a really good microphone, but the fact is there is very little to the human ear, and that's important. Now, we are in sport mode. Now, I'm going to change the mode to comfort. Now it's in comfort mode. And we're going to take a rough road here, and I'm going to show you how nicely this absorbs everything. This is an uneven road surface. This is New York State roads. They really stink, to be honest with you. But you can hear how quiet it is. Now, you may not be able to feel that I'm feeling, and this is what, again, you're not going to get when you go to see your sales guy who's going to try and sell you on this car, is this is pretty quiet. There's only one other vehicle out there that I think is even quieter, but it's so weird in that car that it's like you're in a cell. But the fact is, this absorbs everything. I don't have the radio on. I could have a conversation with someone, and with the audio system on, you can still have a conversation. That's important, and that is part of the handling. Now, as far as this really rough road I'm on, you might be able to see or hear a little bit of the road noise, and that's because this is a really crappy road that I love to test vehicles on. But overall, the handling is very German, which is because they hired German engineers. And you notice that immediately. Very distinct handling, very good car control, very good connection with the ground, and the brakes are very good. That's pretty good. So again, they've done some really nice work to make sure this vehicle impresses you, and for handling, it earns a 9. There are a lot of safety features on this car, and it's quite impressive, so much that I'm going to have to go through some of them with you. Obviously, we can't experience all of them, but I'll try to give you a good feel. So if when you move the dial over, which again, this is part of technology we'll talk about, you've got all your settings that you can get to, and that includes the settings for some of the things you might want in your manual, because there's quite a few things. One of the first safety features you'll note in any vehicle is you put the car in reverse, and you can see it doesn't just have the lines for the backup, but they actually turn, so you can kind of see where you are. But you'll also notice that they turn here as well. And so this is an important feature. Now, you can press this button and you can get just directly behind you, or you can just get to the sides, especially if you're afraid of hitting a curb and damaging these spectacular wheels. Now, another thing you can do, because that's pretty much your normal setting, I'll put that back straight, is there's also an around view. So I want to see around my car. Look at that. You can do this with your finger. You can do this with the dial that's on the center screen. So you can see exactly where I'm parked. The car's around. Isn't that cool? And best of all is you can also move it with your finger. I like the fact that they give you options. So that's kind of neat little safety feature, but you know what? People want that. And so there are other safety features, but this is an important one. You don't want to back over anyone. Like I was saying, the backup camera is a small piece of this pie, but one of the big things is this cutting edge safety. And besides the highway drive assist, which keeps you within your lane, the lane change departure, we've all seen that, the smart cruise control, the pre-active safety, there's a lot of forward collision warning devices in here, blind spot detection, and then Genesis has a safety platform that integrates like 40 different controls in real time to help you be safer on the road. Some of this is involved in technology, but this is something I want to show you. Look at that. This is one of my favorite features. It's available on Hyundai. It's also available on Kia products. It's also available now on Genesis. This is your blind spot detection. It is the best system on the market without question. The reason I say that is because whenever you put on your turn signal, I'll just confuse the people behind me. You got your camera there, or you get your camera there. So it takes gauges and converts them into blind spot detection. That's great. Now you've got all your standard safety as far as airbags and seat belts and forward collision warning, active cruise control, blind spot detection, cross traffic alert. I could go on and on and on, but the safety features are what's so important to a vehicle like this. When it comes to safety, it earns a 10. Transitioning from safety to visibility, which they kind of go hand in hand, one of the things I noticed right away is great, huge, large glass windshield in front. The sills are a bit high. That means that the people in the back seat will be slightly limited in their visibility. But out the back right now, I have that little screen. You can easily put that screen down and back. Now, you can see out the back, even with the headrest, which is good. However, when you're trying to turn around the old school way and you look, what you see is, even though there's small windows there, there's still some limitations in visibility. There's nothing you can do. It's a sedan. It's not an SUV where you can control that. It is something that is individual to each person. If you can't see out the back, it may just be the way you're sitting. Maybe it's the way the vehicle is. Visibility is individual to each person because we're all built differently, sort of like seating comfort. But when you look out the back, you should be able to get a really good view of what's going on around you, even though you have a really top quality rear view mirror. But when it comes to visibility, I had to give it an 8. As I've said in other reviews, no matter what you drive, it is important to be comfortable because the car may look amazing on the outside, but if the inside is uncomfortable, you're never going to be happy with your purchase, which is why I do a seating comfort rating. And thank you for watching and commenting on lumbar. I appreciate it because anyone that has to sit in the passenger seat for a long drive will complain. In this car, they're not. One of the things you get besides the multi-way, I think it's like 18-way different power seating, 4-way lumbar, the ability to adjust the bolsters, which is at the bottom, like in each side of your thighs. And then on top of that, you just press this little button and you get massaging. The pelvic stretching. It's an interesting title. Lumbar stretching. The whole body stretching. Oh, that's cool. And of course, this is for the driver's side because you want to keep the driver awake. that's kind of important. For the passenger side, there are settings. There is lumbar. There is tons of adjustability. And I think this is what is important when you're purchasing a vehicle in this price point. People want to have comfort. This is a mid-luxury sedan. Now, there is the G90, and that really has everything. But if that vehicle's too big for you, or you don't want to go into that price point, or it's just not what you're looking for, you want a little bit more, this is the vehicle. Now, we have asked if there's going to be a G80 Sport, which I could see that happening, but this would be one seriously large performance car. We're told that that could be coming down the road. So don't hold your breath for it. I would say if you really need a nice, comfortable sedan to take people places, to go on long road trips, to take your family more than comfortably, this is a phenomenal choice. Although the front seat is totally fabulous, let's take a look at the second row to see what kind of goodies and comfort level is back there. All right, now we're in the back seat. This is riding in luxury. Now, typically, when you're looking at a mid-luxury vehicle, you're not getting a lot of these features. You've got pockets in front of each seat. You've got your climate control. And the nice thing is you've got built-in cup holders, not the plastic ones. A lot of the Germans have that pop out. Really can't stand that. Both have 3-stage heated seats, and of course that screen that goes up and down. In addition, underneath the center console, you have another USB charger, a little area for putting whatever you want to put there, and a pass-through for skis. Not everyone has that. That's also very smart. Behind the center console, you've got your 2 vents, you've got your climate control, which is great. You can adjust it however you want, and it's for each person, which I really like. Now on the side, you have the 2 speakers for your Lexicon audio, you got your window lifts, and then you got another speaker further down and storage in the door. And there are manual window lifts, which I'm really not a fan of, but that has to do with more in the features department, which we'll discuss. I don't know, I'm not really fond of the manual windows. It's a little tight in there. Maybe it just needs to be pulled out a little bit. There's lights. You've got your panoramic roof open as well. And if you need more room on this side, whether it's an older person, you have a child kicking the seat, there are buttons here. You can move the seat forward. Pretty simple. And you can actually move the back forward as well, just so you have enough comfort and room here. But when you're looking at the seating comfort itself, it's pretty nice. I have to say, really comfortable seats. I don't know if I'd want to sit in the middle, but actually there's plenty of room for 3 people if you needed 3 people back here. But when it comes to seating, overall, for both the front seats and the back seats, it earns a 10. There is a lot of next generation technology in the G80. It's quite a high level, and of course part of the technology is a convenience to drivers, but it also has to be technology to improve your lifestyle, to make you feel more comfortable, to make sure your devices all work. We've all kind of come to that point. We want remote starting. And so the key fob does have a remote start. You just hold down the button. Of course, the lock and unlock button on that, as well as the parking in and out. We saw the Smart Park. If you saw it in the Super Bowl, well, this is the same type of technology. Beyond the remote smart parking assist, which is great for those parking spots, it also has the ability to parallel park for you. And this is for those narrow spots. So if you want to park in perpendicular or parallel, you know what you're doing, this can help you very easily. The screen in front that you're looking at here with the rear picture of the car, which is kind of cute, is a 12.3-inch LED cluster. Now, a lot of people don't like that LED. They find this very weird. I love it. Again, it is an option, it's a step up, but the fact is you can see how it's sort of 3D. It almost looks like it's a real dial, but it isn't. So I like it. Not everyone does like it. And again, you can move it back to the 2D by just going through the buttons in the settings and change that. The standard cluster is an 8-inch cluster. So we're going to try and go through some of the different things. In your center screen, between the 2 gauges, 3D or 2D, there's a button on the right side of the steering wheel. If you press that button, you can go to your navigation or set a route. You can check your tire pressure, which is good to know. And of course, back to the different angles on things that you can do. This is the Smart Cruise Control. You can see the conditions are not set for that, but you can use this Smart Cruise Control so that the vehicle in front of you doesn't get too close and you potentially have an accident. You can also adjust the settings on that as well. So there's your 3D cluster. You can now change it to adjust your head-up display, your driver assistance systems, and that's really nice. Now, if you want to get off that and go to the 3D display, there's the 2D display. I don't know if you can see the difference. It's just a regular versus it's got this really cool in-depth look that you can have for it. And of course, just exit that system. Real easy to use. You can change it right on your steering wheel. Let's go across to the big, huge center screen. When you're looking at the main center screen, this is what would be up if you choose to set it that way. Turn the dial to the right and you get the map. We'll go through each one of these. There's just so much cool stuff. This is the map. It's really nice and crystal clear. You can pick whatever you want to do. You can either touch the screen if you want, set your destination, display traffic, which is nice. Pick how you want it. That's great. Now, go back to that home screen. You can either press that button or hit home in the middle of just above this really pretty dial. And you can go to navigation menu. You get your satellite radio you can set up. That's pretty normal. It also has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Google Assist. The only negative here is that Apple CarPlay has to be plugged in. It is not a Bluetooth connection for that. And that is something that is important to note. So when it came to technology, through all of these details, and there's so much more technology in this car, including the fabulous Lexicon audio system, which is needed in order to hear those sounds of nature, it absolutely deserved a 9. There are a lot of features in this car. I mean, really a lot. I love the knurling on all the details, the real metal, the real leather, the stitching on the steering wheel. Now, if you saw our G80 walk around when we got a first look at this vehicle, there were some people that didn't like the steering wheel. I think it looks good. It fits in with the design. Again, it'd be nice if it was a flat bottom steering wheel, but not necessary. But going over to the controls here, you can see they're all really nicely designed, knurling to make things easier for feel. You've got your memory seat, your Lexicon audio. This is the top of the line, of course. And then, of course, I had to shut off the auto off. But there's the lane departure warning. This is for traction control. This is increasing the lighting to whatever illumination you would like. And then, of course, more controls. Even the controls give you directions, if you can see here, on the flow and lack of flow. Over here, you've got your paddle shift. I don't really know who's going to paddle shift this car, but I'm sure some people will test it. Knurling again on your lighting and how you would like that set. It's lit, too. I don't know if you can see that automatic is lit up, so it's illuminated. On this side, you have your wipers. Again, all of the same knurling. You're going to see the same on the GV80, which is the SUV. And if you haven't seen that yet, you can check out our first look of that, and we'll be test driving that as well and be posting that on our channel. Moving over to the center stack, this is what you would see if you put it on the home button, but when you turn the dial, you get all these amazing options of things that you want. And again, that's part of technology. It's also part of features. If you wish to have your sounds going in the background, I'll see if I can find something relaxing for all of us to listen to. Oh, I don't think it's going to be snow because I'm not ready for that. Maybe the lively forest. We'll turn that volume down just a little bit. So you can pick your volume on that as well. Going further down, this beautiful real leather, real stitching, real open pore wood. Now this is really nice. Now you would expect something like this on a much more expensive vehicle, but they used real materials. Again, more knurling on those same vents, this nice linear line. Push button start also with knurling because there just isn't enough. You will see what's on the center screen also here. Very easy to use. Heated seats, ventilated seats, and of course heated steering wheel. 2-stage heated steering wheel, which I do appreciate. You can adjust your temperatures as you wish and your rear defroster. You also have the same buttons here that you would have up on top into the screen, the map, the navigation, your radio, your media, your favorite, whatever that may be. It's the nature sounds or your setup mode. Going further down, you can put your phone here on the wireless charging. You get 2 USB ports. And then further back on the right side, your cup holder is kind of obvious. Beautiful, more open pore wood, nice aluminum, really nice. It's like a pewtered, like a brush color, really nice. Nicely done. You also have your adjustment for your volume, your tuning. You got your back home menu and this amazing full circle of knurling. The center, actually in the navigation screen, you can say your destination search. Again, it's very intuitive. So I want to search and I want to put in the airport. How's that? We do this and I want to do A. See, it's showing that I want an A. And I want I. So it will show you the letters you're doing. This is very similar to what Audi has, and you have to get used to it because each of the letters, you have to kind of get used to what you're looking for. So if I'm looking for airports, again, I can touch it here. It'll show me all the airports that are in the area. If that's what you're looking for, but that was just something pretty simple. You can use the back button. Further down, you got your auto hold, your reverse, neutral, drive, and low, and your park button, which is beautiful. This whole transmission dial is knurled on the bottom. It's clear crystal on the top with a park button. When you put your foot on the brake and go into the drive mode, it's pretty simple. It's very notchy, easy to use. There's a neutral and then your reverse, which gives you the cameras that we talked about earlier, so you can see what's going on. It also retracts the rear shade so that you can see what's going on. When you change the drive modes and you go to Eco, it gets very green. Press the button again and you can go to Custom. Again, you can get your comfort mode, and my favorite, of course, is the Sport mode. I love the red and white lines on it. It's really nicely done. There's also a camera mode here. When you press that, it says press the button down to display the camera view and press and hold to activate Park Assist. So it can actually help me go into the Park Assist mode, tells you what to do, it checks the surroundings. Again, this is part of that Park Assist button for those who are not good at parallel parking or perpendicular parking. At least you know it's available there, and it'll show you your backup camera, and you can always go back to your home. In front of this little area here, if you press the button, you have access to your glove box. There's a 12-volt outlet here as well. Nice stitching. I'm not a big fan of the split console, but I do like the real wood, real leather, the real aluminum. They did a really nice job all the way around. And even the features in the back seat with the 3-stage heated seats and the ability to make it your own, the ability to move the seat on the passenger side up, all those little details for features, and there's a ton of them, earned a 9. When it comes to design, the all-new G80 is really impressive. Now, typically, I hate these jumbo grills, but in reality, it looks good on this car. Maybe because it's not an SUV with a jumbo logo. They did a nice job putting the Genesis logo here. It really is pretty, and it almost has that Bentley look to it if you really don't know enough about cars. Chrome grille, real nice, and then it's a darker color down here because you don't want to pick up all the bugs. Nice little splitter. One of the things that really stands out about this car, and this is going to be one of the things that causes people to take it for a test drive that want to really see what it's about, believe it or not, is these new marker lights and LED running lights. There are 2 of them. And one of the neatest things about them is when you look at the turn signals on the side, you can see those are the marker lights. Now I'm using the unlock so you can actually see them, but they can run along the side. This is very distinctive. Just like when Audi hit the marketplace and they had distinctive LED running lights and everybody knew it was an Audi and everybody thought it was the coolest thing and it brought a lot of buyers into the marketplace, this is going to do the same thing. Look at that. That is so cool. And the fact that it runs along the side. Now having this 2 stripes may not be the final decision on buying a car, but remember, it makes a statement, and people that buy vehicles in this mid-luxury segment choose to make a statement. Now you can also look at these 20-inch wheels. They're alloys, really nicely done, and they're on an all-season tire. And see, when you leave it alone, it locks itself automatically. Going further down this vehicle, I like the lines. They're really clean, really smooth. It almost has a Mercedes A8 kind of look to it. They're really sleek, sporty European design. Remember, the designers are coming from the Germans. They've done that intentionally because they want to elevate their brand. And you can see this as you go along. Everything is nicely integrated, nice windows, huge glass roof. Just everything is nicely designed as you work your way around to the back. Heading around to the back of the vehicle, again, I will hit that remote so you can see. That is cool. Those are your flashing lights. I think that having that 2-stripe really makes a statement. Again, you've got your brake lights as well, but the idea is it's a turn signal so people can see around you, but then it makes a statement. Again, I'm really impressed with that marker light here. Dual exhaust, your G80 logo. One of the things that they said to us in our briefing is that this is really metal, which I thought was kind of neat. 4-wheel drive. This is a 3.5 liter. This is the all-wheel drive setup. Really nice, clean lines, and when it comes to design, it definitely earned a 10. When you're talking about quality, it's not just the gaps in the panels. It's not just the materials on the inside. It's everything combined. How good is the wear and tear? What kind of warranty is involved? Well, it's Genesis, which is Hyundai, 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. That's impressive. Nobody else on the marketplace has it other than Kia. The Germans haven't got there yet, and I think that's one of the things that they're missing. Although their product is fabulous, the warranty is a big part of owning a vehicle like this, especially if you're not leasing it and you're buying it. One additional thing to note is that Genesis, which is Hyundai, owns their own metal factory. So all the metal that's in here is controlled by them. So there's quality control from the beginning to the end. And because their vehicles last a long time, their numbers are fabulous. People that own them are addicted. It earned a 10 for quality. Coming around to the back of the vehicle, there is a good-sized trunk with 15.8 cubic feet of storage. That's quite large, actually, for a vehicle in this category. Underneath this little cover is a mini spare and all the tools that you would need, and the gigantic version of War and Peace, known as your owner's manual, or that's pretty thick. I don't know if you really want to go through all this, but that's why it's in the center stack, so you don't have to read this. This is more than a bottle of wine or a case of beer to digest all this. In addition is your access to go back for the long items you might carry, like skis or, I don't know, whatever you need that's long. For value, though, when you're looking at this vehicle, the 2.5 liter comes in at $47,500, and if you load up the vehicle like this vehicle, our test vehicle, 3.5 liter all-wheel drive, every option under the sun comes in at $67,500. I have to say, those are retail prices. The Germans are going to be concerned, the Japanese are going to be concerned, and the domestics are going to be concerned. This vehicle has a ton of value, and that's why it earned a 10. I was really impressed with this car when we got a first look of it, and I knew it was going to be impressive, but getting to drive it was a whole nother thing, and testing the handling and using all these features for a couple days, and that was really important to me to get a good feel for this vehicle for all 10 categories. And when you total them all up, it has a very high score of 94. Now you have to look at the competitors. You're looking at BMW, Audi, Mercedes, Lexus, Infiniti is in there as well. Acura has their TLX, which we just reviewed. You can check that out up here. You've also got Lincoln and Cadillac, so you've got a lot in there. And don't forget Jaguar. Their XF is a direct competitor to this vehicle, and it's also all new and also very impressive. So when you're looking at this vehicle, make sure to compare everything. And number one, before you make a decision, check with your insurance agent. Find out what it costs to insure these vehicles. Some are much more expensive than others because it has to do with the total value of the vehicle and replacement parts. All that's important before you make a decision. Of course, maintenance is going to be configured in there as well before you make your final choice. Now, if you decided to buy a G80, you own one right now, put your comments down below. I want to know what you think because I was a huge fan of the G80 in the past and the G80 Sport. You can check that out on our channel. The link is down below. If you want more car smarts, there's also a link to my book and, of course, our new website, which includes English and Spanish with some new contributors. If you got value from this video, make sure to give it a like and a share. Put your comments down below. Follow us on all forms of social media at Lauren Fix. I really want to start the conversation. Do you love this car as much as I do? Do you think it's really cool? Or maybe not. We'd like to hear your input. Let us know what you think. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.